Hi viewers, and this is the retrospective slash video intro of what we've been doing in part one of creating a phaser project that allows the assets to be loaded and getting into our coding shape for a nice little progress bar to actually show those assets being loaded cached so we can actually use those. We extend the actual phaser-free project template that's available, and we learn how to install phaser and install the phaser-webpack-loader and actually use it. So what we're going to do now is actually have a look at these sites and look at the code and see where we got to. So for the first video, we've got our sites up here. Let me just jump over to the sites. So this is our end product. That's what we did in part one. Doesn't look anything special. We got the basic project loaded, but the goodness is over here. So you've got all the audio files being loaded and the logo file being loaded, and then when that's done loaded, this game scene is started and it's run. So what we can do is now hook into this and actually display a nice little progress bar of this being loaded and cached. So let's have a look at the first steps which we did, which was get to the point of actually installing phaser and installing the and that should be down the bottom, the actual phaser project template. So this is the steps that we will be doing it. So the phaser project template, if I jump to, let's close that down. I should have two windows open here. So this is a phaser project template. So when you've done the install of npm install of phaser and the actual git clone of the project itself. So if I look at phaser, so this will go phaser.net /npm npm phaser, and then we clone the phaser photo storm. There we go. So we clone this project template or download it, and we actually use that as a base, and we end up with a directory structure. If I jump to that, here we go. This is directory structure. Is that the one? No, that's not the one. There we go. So this is our directory structure. Got rid of the git directory because don't need it anymore. You can import this back into your normal your custom repo at the end of the day. So we've got a webpack folder and a source file folder here, and the source file folder, all that has in it is a index.js and an assets, and that asset has one asset in logo PNG. And the index.js imports phaser, imports the logo image from the assets folder, and then displays it and does a bit of a tweening. So this is all supplied. And what we want to do is actually allow all these lovely asset loadings to be done actually by basically a JSON file. Otherwise you would have to keep on doing this for every single asset you let me just do that again. For every single asset you add, you would have to just import all the different assets like so and use them like that, which takes you know, that takes a long time. That takes a long time, and it's not very efficient. So to get around that, what we did is we actually installed the Goldfire phaser webpack-loader, and this was just a npm install phaser webpack-loader -- save, and that was it. That was that installed. But there was also a bit of setting up to do. We create a manifest file, assets manifest.js, and that is, at the moment we've only got images and audio in there at the moment. And if I go back to the code, don't need that one anymore. So this is the code with it all installed. Yep, assets manifest.js. Here we go. 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to, so I've imported some audio there, and the images, and a basic JSON structure that's available via const assets manifest and exported out as default and assets manifest. And what we did on our index page, we changed this slightly. We actually created, we actually moved away from the actual phaser scene, the main phaser scene, and created a separate, moved that out into a game.js. So this is our phaser scene now. So we've got our preload console.log in there, just to show that it's being loaded after our assets being loaded. Console.log game scene.create.start, and you'll notice that the logo is now no longer imported. It's just used via the ID logo there, which will be the same ID that's used here. Also removing the .png on the end. And that code's more or less the same, and you just got the class definition at the top. So all the rest has been stripped out, and we use a preload.js. So this imports the webpack loader and imports the asset manifest file, this asset manifest file here. Okay, and we've got preload. So this piece of code is actually available on the site itself. Here we go. It's basically exactly the same as this one. Loader.start, loader.load.then, done loading, and we also include this event here. So here we go. We've got the crate. We add the loader.system-events.onload. This has got to be before any of this stuff, because otherwise it will fail. So each time a file is loaded from the assets manifest, it will actually output file loaded, and the file itself, what we've got in there, that will include the ID and the new PNG name it's been given, because Webpack's packed it all up for us. Start the loader, and then we create a little check here that once we've everything's loaded, we then shout out to the screen, done loading, and then we start our game scene there. So our game scene, if we go to game.js, this is our game scene. Game scene extends the phaser.scene. This is one I showed you before. So this is just a cut down version of the original example itself. So in the index.js, this is where we actually initiate the game scenes from. So we've got our imports in there. So phaser, the preload, preload.js, the game scene itself, just there. So we've imported all those in, and we also set up this configuration is the same as the example file, but we've removed the scene from here. So if we look back at our original, so this is our original. As you can see there, we've got a scene that's no longer needed in there, because the scenes have been split out into separate files, and we've got the imports that have been removed. The import logo now has been removed because none of this code exists anymore. Game is created there, the same as what's happening in here, but we've got some extra code that sits just underneath it, where we add each of the scenes. So we add the preload scene, we add the gain scene, and then we start the preload scene, and that will start the actual preload scene itself. So in Webpack itself, in the base.js, I had to make some modifications in here. I had to place a resolve in here to show where the assets file is in the source directory, and that was all part of the Webpack-loader plugin. Webpack-loader, so we didn't have to worry about this rule here, so don't worry about that rule. Here's a resolver that I had to place in. So that's all good. And the other thing we needed to do is add in the MP3 here. Because if you don't add in the MP3, it won't load the MP3s and it will fail. So I took that out. Save the base as well. npm start on there. What we should have. There we go. So you can see the MP3s have not loaded in, so they've all failed there. So we just need to fix that by adding the MP3 in there. That'll allow the MP3s to come through. There we go, so that's all done. So look at what we got. So you can see all our audio files are loaded now. So that's all good. So that's where we got to. What I'll do is do these little retrospectives after each of the videos, and that allows you to know what's coming up in the video and what we actually, if you're watching this after the video, then what's actually happened, and anything that I've missed out I can actually place into this. I hope that's helped, and see you in the next video.